Have you ever felt your heart racing, or your hands becoming really sweaty, or your voice trembling just before you're speaking to people? Maybe it's for a work meeting, or delivering a presentation, or even just introducing yourself to a group of people. That overwhelming nervousness can make you second guess yourself, and suddenly your mind goes blank. Well, you're not alone. I know exactly how you feel because I've gone through it all before. Hi, my name is Emily. I'm a voice and communications coach. I help people speak with confidence, and I help them express themselves more clearly and they feel comfortable in any speaking situation. Whether you're speaking at work or you're talking in everyday conversations. Before I was a voice coach, I was an actor, and before I was an actor, I really struggled with speaking. I had a lack of confidence when it came to speaking in any type of situation. When I was at school, I used to struggle speaking in front of my class. I even found it very difficult to order my own food at a restaurant. And it came to a point where just talking to a person on the phone, that was quite difficult. I remember planning everything that I used to say in my head, and by the time I put my hand up or I was about to speak, everything in my head that I planned had completely disappeared, and I just froze on the spot. I noticed that my cheeks would go red, my heart was pounding out of my chest, and if I did say something, I just wanted to get it over and done with as soon as I could. And when I stopped speaking, all my symptoms disappeared. It was only those times when I was about to speak, I could feel everything in my body just feeling overwhelmed. But over time, I managed to be able to control my nerves and use them to my advantage. And today I'm a public speaker and I'm able to talk to people without any problems. I can now speak for hours and hours. I can speak when I'm on stage, I can speak when I'm talking to strangers, and I don't have those overwhelming feelings in me anymore. And today I'm going to show you how I overcame my nerves from not being able to speak to anybody at all to being able to speak to everyone and anyone. I want to be able to help you be confident with speaking and to be able to be comfortable in any speaking situation, even when you have nerves. So let's start with the basic question. Why do we feel nervous when we are talking to people? What is it about other people when we're speaking to them that makes us nervous? In fact, there's this statistic that 49% of British people have a phobia of public speaking. So why is that? What are we so afraid of when it comes to talking to another person? If we go back to feeling nervous, having these sensations of being nervous isn't exactly a flaw. It's something that our body physically feels. The sensations of our body tells us that we are nervous. And having nerves isn't something that you need to fix or it's something to get rid of. It's being able to manage how we feel when we have nerves. Being nervous is just like having any other emotion inside our body, like happiness, excitement, fear. It's just part of being human. I know everybody is different when it comes to nerves, but when we have nerves, it comes at a really important time of our life. Every important decision that we make, we might feel some nerves. For example, if you go out on a first date, you might feel nervous. Or if you are studying for a big exam and the day of the exam arrives, you'll feel nervous before you take your exam. Or if you have a job interview, before you go to the job interview, you might feel nervous then. When you're feeling nervous, it's a way of your brain to tell you that this thing that you're doing next is the most important thing at this moment in time. You really want the thing to go well because you care about the outcome. And most of the time, the problem isn't the nervousness itself, it's how we interpret it. Many people assume that when you have nerves, you're not ready or you're about to fail, but that's not true at all. In fact, it's the thing that you're overthinking that makes it the problem. Some of the best speakers, athletes, and even actors get nervous before they do their job. But the difference is they've been able to control their nerves so they can excel in the moment. So instead of thinking I shouldn't feel this way and I should try and suppress all of these emotions, try thinking about it in a different way, that my body is actually trying to prepare me, giving me the energy and the focus that it needs. When you see that nervousness happens to everybody and it's just a natural part of the process, you'll find it easier to understand and you'll be able to speak with more confidence. Before we talk about how to manage our nerves, we want to go through all of the things that make our nerves even worse. The first one is suppressing all of our nerves and not feeling nervous at all. When it comes to having nerves, it's all about a physical sensation in our body. Our body gives us these sensations to tell us to prepare for the next moment. It's all part of the fight or flight system, which I talked about in another video here. We have to be really good at listening to our own body's intuition. If the body is telling you that it's tired, allow your body to rest. If your body is telling you that you're stressed, allow yourself to relax. If your body is telling you that you're nervous, allow yourself to be nervous and find some ways to manage the nerves. When we are able to control our nerves, this is where we can really shine in that moment. The second mistake that people make when they're feeling nervous, especially when they're talking to people, is focusing too much on themselves. In my previous video, I talked a lot about shared connection, redirecting the focus from yourself to the audience. When you're worried about how you look, how you sound, and whether people will judge you, you are setting yourself up for more anxiety. Instead, focus on the message of what you're telling the audience. What do you want the audience to do after they've heard you speak? What's the purpose of talking to the audience? What do you want the audience to learn? When you shift the focus to the people that you're speaking to, then your nerves will naturally decrease because you're no longer making it about yourself. So we've gone through the common mistakes of what makes us more nervous, and we've gone through why we feel nervous. But the next step is to be able to identify what makes us nervous in the first place, because if you're watching this video, everyone else who is watching this video will have a different perception of that. Everybody is different. Everybody will have different times when they feel nervous, and they will have different symptoms when they're feeling nervous as well. So really think about the times when you feel nervous, because being nervous doesn't happen out of nowhere. There are triggers that make us feel nervous, and we need to find out what those triggers are. Is it the fear of you being judged, or you'll forget everything you're about to say, or that feeling of being unprepared? Maybe it's the pressure of speaking to authority figures. Maybe your voice isn't loud enough when you speak, or maybe you just feel so overwhelmed that you just don't know what to say. When you pinpoint exactly how you are feeling and when it happens, then you're able to do something about it. If your trigger is thinking about forgetting all of your words and going blank on stage, then you'll know to put in that extra time so you can practice a little bit more, or even have the cue cards at hand so you can have notes to prompt you. If you're worried about being judged when you're speaking and all the eyes looking at you, then you can remind yourself that all of these people in the room are supportive of what you're going to say, and you can't mind read exactly their expressions. By understanding your triggers, then you are in control. Just like when you are the speaker, you are in control of what you say and how you want the audience to react and feel. Now we're going to look at the practical techniques of being able to manage our nerves. Once we've found and identified our triggers, we are able to think about the things we can do to manage and to be able to calm those nerves down. Before we go into speaking, we need to look at the mindset. And before we look at the mindset, we need to look at the body. When we look at the body, we are talking about the internal body, which I also covered in another video. The internal body is the thing we need to look at to be able to help us manage those nerves. We need to be able to calm those nerves down, and to do this is by breathing. When we are breathing, we are telling our nervous system that everything around us is safe. We are comfortable and relaxed in that environment. When we are breathing, it tells our brain not to go into survival mode, searching for air to help us survive. Instead, the brain can focus on another task, like what we're about to say. When we allow ourselves to breathe, it really calms down the nervous system, and then it also helps clear the mind. When your mind is clear, we can make better decisions. When you are nervous, you tend to have short, shallow breaths, which doesn't help the nervous system at all. Instead, you want to be able to do deep belly breathing, breathing in through the nose and all the way down into your hip sockets. You can also do another breathing exercise called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. This really allows you to reduce your anxiety, and sometimes people use it to go to sleep as well. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 7 seconds, and you exhale for 8 seconds. Let's try this together. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Great. So try that a few times. That should really help calm your nervous system down. Once we've calmed our nervous system by breathing, sometimes we can feel really tired and lethargic. So the next thing to do is to really loosen up our body, to really waken the body, to make us feel alive again. So really shaking out the hands, making sure we roll back our shoulders, rolling our head, just really tapping our face as well, tapping our arms, to make sure that we have all of the senses back into our body so we feel alive and ready. Once we've re-energized the body, it's time to focus on the external body, which is having a confident posture. Allowing yourself to plant both your feet on the floor, whether you're standing or sitting, having that elongated spine to allow that energy to run through our body, and really being able to feel grounded within ourselves, so our structure of our body is nice and strong. And when I mean your body is strong, it doesn't mean that your body is tense. So if you're clenching your fist really tight like this is tension, and this is what we don't want in our body. When your body is strong, everything is aligned. So your feet are planted on the ground, your spine is nice and elongated, your chin is floating on your neck. There is no tension in the body at all. Your chest is open to receive the energy from the other person. And you're just allowing yourself to have that strong structure. Just like a tree, you have the roots planted into the ground, you have the tall, strong tree trunk, and then you have all of the branches and the twigs and the leaves that come off that. So really allowing yourself to have that structure, to be open, so your body can feel like it's in control. Also, when you have good posture, it really allows the air to go deep down into your hips as well. So when you're feeling relaxed and comfortable in the environment, you are able to speak with more confidence. We've just looked at the internal body with breathing, and we've looked at the external body, which is posture. Now we need to look at the mindset. Hopefully, when you are breathing, you should have cleared the mind. When you are speaking, there shouldn't be lots of different thoughts going on and you can't filter out the information. When you are breathing, your mind should be nice and settled, and it allows the ideas to come to you one at a time. When we have the thought of being nervous, or we're thinking that we are nervous, we want to be able to change that energy within our body. We want to turn something that is negative into something positive. So allowing that energy to turn into adrenaline, to make us feel excited. Instead of telling yourself that I'm nervous, tell yourself that I'm excited. I'm excited to say whatever it is that I've got to say. I'm ready to speak. I have confidence when I speak. Another way to manage our nerves and to be confident at speaking is to adopt a growth mindset. Speaking or public speaking is a skill that we learn, just like riding a bike, playing an instrument, or cooking a new recipe. If you have a growth mindset, you are telling yourself that you believe that you can improve with practice. Instead of saying I'm bad at public speaking, reframe it and tell yourself I am getting better every time I practice. Instead of telling yourself I'm never going to be a confident person, tell yourself that confidence comes from repetition and experience. When you shift your mindset from a fixed mindset of, oh no, I'm not good at this, I can't improve, to a growth mindset of believing in yourself and trusting in the process and being able to take on actionable steps to make those changes, that's when you can grow and be confident at the thing that you want to be confident in. And when it comes to a growth mindset, a great way is to be able to track and document your journey. So writing down or recording how you are speaking, and then going back to that first time where you didn't feel like you were confident, but you had the courage to take that first step, really allows you to see how far you've grown. The more you learn to manage your nerves, the more confidence you'll have. And the more confidence you'll have, you'll feel better doing it every single time. But to be able to take our mindset to the next level and to be able to keep our nerves at bay, we want to be able to really visualize success, even when we haven't reached success yet. Every time we speak, we tend to overthink everything. We tend to overthink what happens if I forget my words, what shall I say, how should I say it? And when we overthink, we don't visualize what we want the outcome to be. We're so worried about the present moment of how it's going to feel, what we're going to do, exactly how we want to present ourselves, that we're putting pressure on ourselves to react in that specific moment in time. And when we're overthinking and we're overreacting, we're getting overwhelmed and overstimulated, and then our whole body doesn't seem to function. So allow yourself to breathe, and then when it comes to the mindset, really visualize that success. So before you step on stage and say your speech, or before you go into the meeting and put your hand up to offer your opinion, just visualize yourself speaking out loud. Really allow yourself to imagine the people in the room, the feeling that you get, the positive feelings when you are putting your hand up, when you are speaking, when you're smiling towards the audience. When you are imagining your confidence, when you're speaking to people, you are imagining your success, the way that you want it to turn out. The more we visualize how we want it to be, the more in control we feel and the more likely that outcome will happen. So if you visualize yourself really confident, really enthusiastic about what you're going to say, when you see that in your mind, your body will feel it. And when your body feels it, you are going to replicate it in the future, in that split second, in that moment. But if you're visualizing something that's negative, everything will go wrong, the slides won't work, you've dropped something on the floor, you're shuffling around all your notes in your hands, and you can't seem to find the right words to say, then your brain will replicate those negative energy and those negative vibes. So for us to really visualize that success really helps us get rid of those nerves. So once we've visualized that success, all we need to do is wait for those positive experiences to happen, and they will. So I hope today's video has been very useful for those of you who really struggle with your nerves, especially around speaking. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.